We'll look on Chaf Hey with Beis, Taner Rabbana.
Okay.
And we're talking about the mitzvah of Kriya on the loss, Rachmana litzlan, of one of the 7 close relatives. So we're on Chaf Vav Hamid Aleph. Elu Korin She'ein Misachim. We're going to have 2 categories. We're going to have one category of Kriya where you're allowed to re-sow the Kriya, and another kind of Kriya where you're not allowed to re-sow it. HaKorel Aviv Imo. So now we're talking about Korin She'ein Misachim. It's for a father and mother, implying that for any other relative you're allowed to sew up the Kriya after the Avelus. The Al Rabo Shalim Del Torah, if his Rebbe taught him Torah, you're not allowed to be Korea and Misachet. It's Korin the Ein Misachim, the Al Anosim, the Al Av Bezdin, the Al Shmuos Ros. So what exactly are Shmuos Ros? The Gemara is going to tell us what bad tidings are called Shmuos Ros that generate halacha which prohibits you from sewing up that which you ripped. Al Birchas Hashem, that's cursing God. Ve'al Sefer Torah Shenisraf, in the case of a Torah scroll that had to be burned, we'll get right back to this in a minute. Ve'al Ore Yehuda, ve'al Migdash, ve'al Yerushalayim. So if a person actually sees the burning of a Sefer Torah, then he has to cut Kriya. If he sees Yerushalayim, meaning the ruins of Yerushalayim, then he must cut Kriya. The Korei al Migdash hu Mosif al Yerushalayim. If we're talking about the ruins of the Beis HaMikdash, then we obligate Kriya. We implement Kriya in the Mikdash and Mosif al Yerushalayim. What is this Mosif al Yerushalayim? He says one is not obligated to make a new Kriya, a new rent, upon seeing the ruins of Yerushalayim, but he may simply extend the original one that he had made when he saw the temple ruins. How do we know that there's a special requirement of Kriya of the Imo for Rabo? The Pasuk says in Malachim Beis, Ve'alisha roe ve'hu mitzachek avi rechev Yisrael parashav. So Elisha is watching his Rebbe Eliyahu transition, if I could use that word, from this world to the next world, but he never fully makes the transition. He's still chai, he's still alive. Very complicated situation. Avi ze avi ve'imo. Rechev Yisol parashav ze rabo shalim del Torah. And Aviv Imo v'Rabo shalivdo Torah. I think the Rabo is limdo Torah. Aviv Imo, I think, has nothing to do with limdo Torah. Now, we still don't understand how this pasuk of Elisha will indicate that there's a separate chiyuv kriya Aviv, I'm sorry, Avi, Ze Aviv Imo. That he was really crying out to his father or to his mother. Rechav Yisrael Parshav, Israel's chariot and horsemen, Ze Rabo Shalimdo Torah. So what is going on here about Elisha? It says Avi. And Elisha is really crying out about his Rebbe Elio. And in the same breath, he says, Rechev Yisrael Parasha. Rabo Shalimdo Torah, the Gemara says. So what's the Avi? He says in the note, in the name of Hakos Yavitz, that Elisha considered his mentor Elio like a father and a mother to him. And he alluded to this by shouting, Avi. So there's a remez here to his mother. I'm not sure the significance of the fact that the second Avi refers to his mother. Now, where's Kriya over here? We don't have that pasuk. My mashma, how do you know that this is the category of Rabo Shalimdo Torah? I'm not sure why the Gemara is confused about that. We're talking about the relationship between Elisha and Elio. All right, let's see how he answers it. Can it be Targum Rav Yosef? So this is the Tirgum of Rav Yosef. Rabbi, Ditav lahon li Yisrael b'tzlosei marsichin ufarashin. So Elio is going up to Shamayim, and Elisha is saying, Avi. So the Gemara says, "V'lo masachem binolan," and how do you know in these cases there's no heter to re-sew the garment and put it back together again as it was before the Kriya? The Siv, vayachzeik b'begadav vayikraim l'shnayim kroim. He took his garments and rest them into two torn pieces. He took hold of his garments, went to two torn pieces, which is in the plural, Eini Odea L'Shnayim. Usually Ein miud al pochs mishnayim. El melamid shekruim v'yom b'muchnayim liolam. And what is the significance of the word liolam describing kruim? Forever. Liolam means it can never be mended. So we derive from this that the kriya itself that one makes over the death of a father or mother or a Torah teacher can never be fixed up, can never be resewn. Why did Eliyahu need to do kriya if he's still alive? So Rabbi Yochanan answers Reish Lakish just came in the Ksivul Od. He saw him no more. With respect to Elisha, it's as though Eliyahu was gone. Okay. Now, Nasi v'av bezdin u'shmuos ros minolan. Again, other cases that you're not allowed to throw up the rip, the kriya. Dichsiv. Vayachzek David b'bgadov vayikraim v'gam kol hanoshim asher ito vayispedu vayivku vayetzimu ad ha'aretz. So the pasuk says that David did kriya, as did the people who were with him, and they lamented and they wept and fasted until the evening. But al shol val yonasan b'no v'am am Hashem v'al beis Yisrael ki naflu b'charev. So we're talking about a hesped and a bechi together with its psalm until the evening. Al shov al Yonasan b'no v'al am Hashem v'al beis Yisrael ki naflu b'charev. Shaul's and Nasi. Yonasan's have bezdin. That's an interesting chiddush that Yonasan is an av bezdin. Is that well known? I never knew that. Al am Hashem v'al beis Yisrael elu shmuos haros. Now, what's Shmuos Haros? He says it means a defeat in battle. I don't know. It's a little bit vague. Amalei Rav Bar Shabal Rav Kahan. The Ema, maybe it means Ad Havu Kulu. Funny Havamina. He's saying that maybe this chi of kriya will only apply if all of the above happen. It's not for each individual case. Amalei, so Rav Kahana says back to Bar Shabi, al hifsika inyan. I guess he's saying that the al Beis Yisrael is a little bit strange. Why say the al Beis Yisrael? And the answer is al hifsika inyan. Not sure I understand what he means here. Did you catch this? By hifsika inyan.
No,
it says al twice here in this pasuk, I think. It says Al Shaul, etc. And then it says Al Beis Yisrael. So he's darshaning the fact that it says Al twice.
Right.
And the Gemara has a havamina that maybe it's Ad Dahavu Kulu. So the Gemara answers Al Hifsika Inyan.
So he did Kriya for every person.
And it's not the way we thought. It's not the whole, but the sum of its parts.